Strap in, because the cast and crew of Game of Thrones promise season 7 will do anything but drag on. Did you get it? Drag on. Ooh, I'm Sasha Pearl Raver. These are my puns, and this is Screen Junkies News. As Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. And apparently, the same is true of the upcoming season of Game of Thrones. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, various cast and crew spoke at length about the new season of the enormously popular show. Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Jaime Lannister himself, said, quote, "Everything happened quicker than I'm used to. A lot of things that normally take a season now take one episode." Dang, girl! Well, here to talk with me about what that means for season 7 and 8 are my own Littlefinger and Varys, Paris Lay and Mary Risk, and over there on the wall, aka the Night's Watch, we have social chair and fact checker Danielle Radford. Hi, kitty boo-boos.
Hello, buddy.
Oh man, so there is a lot going on in this article. We are going to be talking about Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 6, so this is your spoiler alert. David Benioff, who said, "For a long time we've been talking about the wars to come. Well, that war is pretty much here. So it's really about trying to find a way to make the storytelling work without feeling like we're rushing it. You still want to give characters their due." Oh man, hey dragons. So Mary Risk.
Yes.
Oh man, I just am super excited. Like beyond anything, I'm just like, what do you mean one episode is what we got in a season? What do you mean the war is already here? What does this mean?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. I think we have been building to this moment, though. I mean, at the end of season 6, you did get a lot in episode 9 and episode 10 of that season of just showing that now the war has come.
Yeah.
And things are going to happen a lot quicker in war than they do in times of peace and trudging. The first 6 seasons of that show really happened in like 2.5, 3 years. And they really have all been each character's individual journey to build up to this moment. First of all, we have a lot less characters in season 7 than we had even in the last episode of season 6.
R.I.P.
So you've got fewer people that you're following, and I think all of those people's stories are going to intertwine more. So it makes sense to me that things are happening a little bit quicker because you have fewer stories to really be telling.
Right, they're happening sort of en masse.
Yeah, they're happening together.
Well, Paris, season by season, it has been this slow burn. And there was a moment, I will admit, where I almost backed off of Game of Thrones because I was like, stop walking! Stop walking and get somewhere!
Yeah.
And then, you know, Dragon showed up and I was like, never mind, I'm back.
Yeah.
What do you think about this sort of pacing?
Well, the pacing sometimes in the show confuses me because you got to remember there are certain parts that were happening back in Westeros that was like happening, that were happening like over the course of like a couple of days. In the Night's Watch, for instance, when Jon died, like that was a course of like 2 nights, that whole event of him dying, then coming back to life like the next night.
Yeah.
Whereas, and then we would cut to Arya, and then she's doing like a training montage. It looked like she'd been there for months. So I'm like, it's like time moving faster in Bravos and then slower at the wall. Like what the? I don't know.
Well,
Like
it's cold, it's icy, it's a slower pace.
Yeah, so I was confused about that. So, but now to think that it's going to be accelerated, to hear him like say the things that will take place in an episode that took a whole season to resolve before, like what is happening? I don't understand. Like I said, I'm being a typical human before. I was like, oh, this is taking so long. Why are you getting to it now? I'm like, no, slow down. Just like, don't leave me.
Don't leave us.
Yeah.
And there's so much that we need. Okay. I'm very upset because we only have 7 episodes in season 7, and then we only get 6 episodes in season 8, which is just not enough. But let's sort of rewind and figure out where we were and where we're going. So when we finish season 6, Dany's on a boat.
Dany's on a boat. She's headed to Westeros.
She finally got a boat.
But see, this is the thing. We're saying she finally got a boat after 6 seasons. Like, don't you want to see her use that boat now that she has it? You don't want her, like, swabbing the deck for another season.
Shout out to Dothraki, though, because when you see a woman emerge from fire unburned, you just be like, you know what?
Dragons.
Let's get into some water. Like, can't be that
Let's
bad.
do it.
Like,
We'll do it.
Anything's possible.
Unless you got wildfire, less things burn on water. So they're like, no, it's probably safer. It's safer out there.
Safer.
So we know where she's headed. We know for sure where she's going.
And we think she's at Dragonstone based on pictures we've seen, all of that. Long Walk to the Throne promo.
Yeah. All right.
Cersei, obviously, Cersei killed everybody. So a lot of our favorite characters are dead.
Yeah,
that's where they are at season 7.
She pulled a Godfather one at the end.
was one of your favorites.
No, but like I really liked Marjorie Tyrell. I liked Loras. Yeah, their dad was fine.
Okay, I was ready for that to end.
Tommen was definitely like the best of the children.
But of Tommen, like if you want to go out, you go out like Tommen. No spoilers here, but that is what's up.
Okay, and and Pycelle, I mean, that was one that he's always been an interesting character. Sure. It's not that I was like sorry about his death, but a lot of people were lost.
Yeah, but he went out Children of the Corn style.
That was real creepy. So awesome. That was awesome. I want you though to pick up your tin hat and put it on, Mary.
Okay.
What is your Cersei theory?
Okay, so I have a crazy Cersei theory that I've talked about a couple times.
I don't think it's that crazy.
I think there's a chance that she's gonna really like align herself with the White Walkers. She really wants power. She's kind of like no holds barred, no children left to sort of humanize her. And as she gets less human, it makes sense that she would go to this supernatural power of the White Walkers, the others. And then that also sets up like a really cool battle between dragons and White Walkers that is also a battle for the Iron Throne and like a battle for like the soul of Westeros and the survival of humanity, which to me sounds like a kind of like Game of Thrones pinnacle build to that point.
I think that makes so much sense. I love it. And also we did get that one very short sort of teaser trailer, and at the end of it, they're all sitting on thrones, but when Cersei opens her mouth, white breath comes out, and yes, we know that winter is there, but still,
but like it's like blue white breath. It's not just like steam.
She definitely seems like the kind of person who would want to be that old saying of like a person that would want to be the king of a pile of ashes. Like it doesn't matter that everyone's dead. Like I still get to be in charge, right? Like everyone's dead. I don't care. Am I still in charge? I'm alive. Okay, cool. I'll take that. Like she seems like that kind of person who doesn't like. She doesn't seem like you said, since she doesn't have children to anchor her to humanity anymore. She seems like you said, I will go all out to keep this. Like I have nothing to lose, and she clearly showed that she's in it to win it. Like there's no links that she will not go to. Like she blew up a church. Let's remember that she blew up a church.
It was the bomb. It's more puns. It's puns all day. I love it. Now Jon and Sansa, king in the north,
hanging out at Winterfell, having some like family love. And it's interesting that Sansa and Jon are the two Stark siblings that are sort of like brought together, just because she was kind of the one that was like against him. Like he always was closer with Arya. She was always the one who like called him her half brother and like her bastard brother, not like Jon, my buddy. Like of the siblings, she was definitely one of the ones he was the least close with. So them now is in sort of an unlikely pairing.
Her evolution as a character has just been one of the more just underrated aspects of the show, because you got to remember her very first episode, she's like pining over Joffrey, wanting to be the king.
What was she doing?
She's like, I don't want to live in freaking Winterfell. This is like a dump. I want to live in the city. Like she was that kind of a girl.
She's awful. I started rewatching it. I was like, oh, this is all your fault.
I'm like, oh, I remember. I used to hate you.
Yes, it was all her fault.
You're like, you lied to the king when you had a moment right there to prove how much of a little bad word that Joffrey was, but she didn't do it. So it's like you have it now to see that she's aligned herself with, like you said, with a brother who she really didn't even consider a brother, is like really cool. So I love her evolution as a character.
Yeah, she now knows how to Littlefinger better than Littlefinger knows how to Littlefinger.
I think so too. And it's funny with Sansa because there's always been this sort of like running, she's such a bad liar, she's such a bad liar. But wouldn't the best liar pretend to be a bad liar? I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, but also you have to think about when you've got something to lose. Sansa didn't really understand what she had to lose, and then she lost everything. Literally everything. Like from her daddy to her virginity. Like it just, she just got wiped out. Just across the board.
Her wolf, her mom, her home.
And now she's like, oh, I understand what it is to have everything, to lose everything, and to get everything back.
And then you gotta remember too, like they don't know that Arya's alive. Like so she feels like the only person I have left from this home that I used to know is Jon. Like even if he was the one that I really didn't like or didn't spend time with, like he's familiar, he's home, like he's family. So I love that she's at least acknowledging that like family matters, and that's what's important now. So
Arya will talk about just being like just such a G. When we left her at the end of season 6, she was handling business in like the most incredibly savage way. Where do we think she is going in season 7, Mary?
Well, we know she's got more people on that list. She's back in Westeros. If I were Arya, like sure, I'd go find my wolf and go home to Winterfell, but I'm pretty sure everyone that she wants to kill isn't there.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of excited to see her like sort of do this like grand tour of murder. I think it'll be really interesting, and I think it'll play in well, if you have different battles in that war being fought in those places, how long is it going to be before she really comes into battle to kill people?
Yeah. What do you think, Paris?
Yeah, I think she's definitely going to be on her Assassin's Creed kind of a thing, just out here just wiping out people left on her list. I would love to see her get back to Winterfell, but it's also, you got to remember how fast does news travel. Like, is she, when is she exactly going to get over there? Oh, she's already there. So does she know what's going on in Winterfell with the Battle of the Bastards? So I mean, in all of it, she obviously just got done killing Walter Frey, so that kingdom's done. So typically you would think, okay, I'm going to go to Winterfell and wipe out who's there next, and then she could discover that, oh crap, my family's here.
Yeah,
or is she going to go to King's Landing? Well, things are completely different there. You know, Joffrey's already dead. Like, what is there for her besides Cersei? Which I think Cersei's a little tough to get to because of the mountain right now. Like, she's like Zombie Mountain's kind of tough. Like, he's a tough guy to get past.
We got to figure out what's going on with the mountain, what's going on with the Hound. But before we even get to any of them, what is going on with Tyrion? Because I feel like season 7 is going to be huge for Tyrion Lannister.
It definitely is. I mean, so Tyrion's allied with Dany. He is also sailing across the sea like the epic boss that he is.
Yep.
You know, I mean, he's said many times throughout the show that his place is an intellectual place in the political regime, that he's good at it, that he likes doing it. And I think that's kind of where you're going to see him go. I feel like he's going to be one that probably stays out of battle. I know he's been in battle a couple times before, but as Dany's chief advisor, I think she will keep him out of battle. And I think you're going to see him really influencing the political climate in Westeros.
I think he's in a perfect role for himself. He's always been someone that's just been like, just kind of a thinking 4 or 5 moves ahead kind of a guy. He always gives really good sound advice, and a lot of things in Westeros wouldn't have happened if people would have just listened to him, because that's a thing a lot of people don't talk about. Whereas I think if Dany has had advisors before, and she had, you know, obviously Captain Friendzone advising her, clouding things, now she has someone advising her who is just like, no, this is just the way it is. I know you're not gonna like to hear this, but he's a straight shooter. He's gonna tell her what he really thinks and what he thinks is the best thing to do, and I think 9 times out of 10, as he's proven, it's probably gonna be the right decision.
What about the White Walkers? I love the deep breath that they all had to take for the White Walkers.
It's interesting with the White Walkers because we did see a little bit of their, I would think of it as sort of like the beginning of their attack at the end of season 9. Or I'm sorry, not the end of season 9. At the end of season 6.
We want it to be a season 9.
I'd be so happy.
And I think both of the trailers that we've gotten so far, which is like there was the one with the sigils and the long walk to the throne. I'm sorry, trailer's not fair, teaser. Have definitely concentrated on the White Walkers and ended with the White Walkers. And if those teasers tell me anything, it's at the end of this season, we're going to be getting like White Walkers in charge. So I think the season will be leading up to either White Walker defeat or White Walker victory.
Whoa,
This has all been building towards it. You got to remember, the very first episode, that's what we saw. Like, the opening scene was about a White Walker. So I think like you said, it's all coming full circle, and they're clearly going to have a part to play. And I'm just wondering if the people in charge can get rid of their petty squabbles, and can Jon, because Jon is the only one that understands the threat. No one else does. Can he convince everyone else that, no, this crap, what else doesn't matter? This is what matters.
Well, it's not Game of Thrones unless a lot of people die. So who survives season 7?
I feel like you can't safely say anybody. Although the thing I will say, and this is the 3 dragons. There's been talk, you know, from the whole time, books show who the 3 dragons are, who are going to ride Daenerys' 3 dragons into battle. You know, we're going to see Daenerys riding the dragon. We've already seen it. There's an amazing photo out of her in battle on that dragon, and like the fire behind her. Oh, there it is. Yes. So hello, Daenerys. Right. So I think 2 people have to survive to ride those dragons with her. I personally think Jon Snow has already died once, and like as such is exempt from having to die again. So I'm really hoping, and maybe that's just like too much like of a personal like fangirl hope, but I'm really hoping Jon Snow makes it. I'm really hoping Tyrion makes it. Kind of would like to see Tyrion ride a dragon. That may or may not be a thing.
Oh, it's happening.
I don't know.
Tyrion, Jon Snow, and Dany riding dragons. I truly believe that.
And I think that's almost an image that keeps them safe, because really like getting killed off the back of a dragon, I would say that's probably one of the like safer spots to be.
Totally
tough spot to get killed in. I think one of the I don't think both of them will make it, but I think one of the Stark girls will make it. I don't know which one, but I know one of them will have a part to play.
You think they would kill one of either Sansa or Arya?
They have been rolling 7s all game long. Someone's got to come up snake eyes.
They've been killing so many Starks. And there's only a couple of
the Stark girls have been rolling 7s. They've been getting lucky for
Yes.
7 years.
But
Something's
George
got to
has
give.
always said that this show is really about the children. Oh, but that doesn't mean they survive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Okay. Well, so we keep talking about the White Walker battle.
Yes.
And we know that there
war
are
to come.
dragons and the war that has now arrived.
Yes.
We got to pick up our tin hats and put them back on because I have another tin hat theory.
Okay.
So we talk a lot about Captain Friendzone. Captain Friendzone, aka Sojora, who is off trying to find a cure for grayscale. I
Sojora.
refuse to believe that Captain Friendzone does not play a bigger part in all of this. And I refuse to believe that grayscale does not play a bigger part in this. And Mary, before we started, you brought up the grayscale and dragon scale.
Yeah.
I mean, I just said it and I got the chills. They look very similar.
They look very similar. And, you know, George R. R. Martin does love to establish things early on that come around again later. Kind of what we're talking about, like this episode 1, season 1 started with the White Walkers.
Yeah.
First book started with the White Walkers. And you've seen a lot of grayscale throughout this series. You've seen a lot of like warnings about it, the killing potential of it, the fact that it's very like hard to cure. You saw it with Stannis Baratheon's little daughter that he burned at the stake.
that was so-
It wiped out a whole civilization like that.
Yeah.
Like those. That was what's the name of that civilization? Where Valerians?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it killed all of them.
But I
So,
wonder
like,
if maybe having grayscale could be the cure to all of this. Like, what if that is the thing that
Can
makes
White
you,
Walkers get grayscale?
or if you have grayscale, can you defeat White Walkers?
Yeah,
I mean,
either
there's
way.
a lot. Okay, so
but
10
you're
hats
just
off,
stark
but-
raking mad afterwards. So like, there's not like you have like
No,
you're a
there's
person.
kind of a cure.
That is
like
true.
Listen, Danny sent Sir Captain Friendzone off to go find a cure, and maybe what Sir Jorah found out was my cure is that if I take this plant and I have grayscale, I can kill White Walkers. I don't know. I have no idea. But you know what we do know? We know that we need to bring Danielle Radford into this conversation. We asked you guys what you wanted to see out of season 7, and I want to know what the people are saying, Danny. Danny?
Hello. Well,
Hello.
a lot of people are super ready for. They said we've already got the Bastard Bowl. People are ready for the Clegane games. Like they're ready for like the Hound versus the Mountain. Maybe Arya kills
Yes.
the Mountain and not the Hound, which
That's
would
what
be
I'm
dope.
talking about.
My favorite one is from @rdrago66, who says someone dies by dragon the same way the lawyer died in Jurassic Park. I am here for that.
Jurassic
Just
Dragon.
somebody on the privy and just a dragon
man.
comes down. Come on.
I'm with it. I love all of it.
I'm on board.
Oh man, we
Oh,
can't
man.
wait. This is I just was looking at like my sort of time hop app, and 7 years ago I had just watched the finale of Lost, and I was saying I haven't cried like that in a really long time. Thank you, Lost. I'm really going to miss you, and I guarantee you, like 7 years from now, I'm going to be looking back and I'm going to miss talking about Game of Thrones because
Yeah.
I love this show so much.
good show.
Season 7, season 8, they're going to be intense, and we want to know what you guys are excited for. What do you think will happen? Who will survive and who will not? Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe, and of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. We'll see you soon.